Welcome to the Triggy Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Quaid. I'm joined with Sheezy.
Did you play the opening song?
No, we're ready to go. We got some crazy takes for you. We got some ball knowledge for you. You heard it here first on Triggy Sports Talk Show. How's it going?
No, I love it. I love it. I think it's outstanding.
It's categorically dumb.
I think it's an outstanding addition. I think it immerses. the listener.
I mean, but why not add it in post? You know what I mean? We're gonna play it on the fucking mic.
Because it riles me up.
We're Triggy Sports Talk Show live. We're live, and we are joined by Ian Martin. We're joined by BY. We're joined by Sheezy, and we have a lot to get into.
Microphone,
right? He just has no idea what he's fucking doing on the microphone. I mean, he comes on, and I'll tell you, he sounds a bit like a telemarketer, is what happens.
Sounds like he's trying to sell me.
Yeah, it's just.
Sell me some dick.
I'll buy.
It's terrible.
All right, let's get to some football here. Christ in heaven. Hot takes. That's where we're kicking the show off.
I'm big on those Buccaneers this year. Baker Mayfield, sneaky MVP
Big ceiling.
Sneaky.
Big ceiling.
What an offense.
Big ceiling. We're talking a cathedral.
Well, let's go around the horn here. Okay, let's go around the horn.
I gave you mine.
Well, let's get some more depth on that here.
Sure.
The Buccaneers,
I'll talk about
right?
it.
I mean, I think everyone's expecting them to be a good team. I think most people have them winning at least 11 games. But what about the Buccaneers do you think that we're not going to expect to see?
I'll tell you right now. I think the receivers are going to blow people away. I think Emeka Egbuka might be wide receiver one.
Very high on Emeka Egbuka.
Thank you.
Passing Mike Evans.
I think he might surpass Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is going to maintain his consistency, his excellence, and I even think guys like Tez Johnson could break out in big ways.
I'm big on Emeka because Tampa's a sneaky wide receiver factory, and they've never really spent a lot on a wide receiver since Chris Godwin, and everyone remembers how good he was when he broke out. And Emeka is an older college player too. He played, I think he maybe even played 6 seasons at Ohio State with the COVID season. So this is an older dude stepping into a pretty established offense who could take over as a good role from a high-scoring team with good quarterback, good run game. I think that could carry Tampa Bay all the way through a little playoff run.
And OSU, too. I mean, they have a lot of great receivers that translate very well to the NFL. You got Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Who am I forgetting, BY?
JSN, Marvin Harrison.
Can't forget JSN, Marvin Harrison. And correct me if I'm wrong, Emeka Egbuka had some of the most receptions on those stacked OSU teams already. I think he's going to be a special kid. There's a reason why he went in the first round. And I think with Baker Mayfield's performance last year especially, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to haul in a large amount of touchdowns and really contribute to an offense, especially with these guys like Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin missing time.
Yeah, I mean, how much time is Jalen McMillan going to be missing?
A lot. He got
8.
I think it's going to be
back injury. It could be bad. He was wearing a neck brace. That was a couple weeks ago.
Teddy Bridgewater threw him a fucking hospital ball, so that's what you get when you put that dumbass cocksucker in.
You know what I want to talk about a little bit? I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns for a second here.
Terrible.
I think
Sugar Sanders looked totally lost. He looked a little bit boyish.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know how he played today. I didn't watch the game.
You tell me there's a fight.
Oh, well, that was Shiloh. That wasn't Shedeur.
That was Shiloh Sanders.
But
my fault.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that Shedeur looked boyish, but he certainly did not look comfortable.
Well, let's get to Cleveland here. Because, so recently, obviously, Joe Flacco named QB1, and then we have Dylan Gabriel going as QB2, and then Shedeur behind him at QB3. Obviously, I think Joe Flacco was the obvious starter week 1. But my thing with it is, as a fan of a team that was going through a bit of a quarterback crisis back in the day, this reminds me of the season when we had Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock competing for who was going to be the starter on the Broncos offense.
Ass and ass.
Yeah, I mean, but my thing with it is,
sandwich.
I think with Teddy, we knew it was going to be a 6-7 win season.
6-7.
Something like something like that.
6-7.
We weren't going to make the playoffs. We knew who Teddy was. We didn't quite know who Drew was. Now, obviously, would he have turned out well if he'd started? Who knows? Probably not. But I'm just a big proponent of when you're in a situation like Cleveland, when you have... Now, again, maybe those young QBs aren't fully developed yet. You want to give them time, and that's all good and fun. But I think by week 5, week 6, expect to see either Dylan Gabriel or Shador on the field. It seems like it's going to be Dylan at this point in time, but we'll have to see.
And there was a moment in today's preseason game. The Browns are down by, I think it was less than a touchdown. It was like a point. They were down by 1 point, and they had 2 minutes left on the clock. Would have been a perfect opportunity to put Shador Sanders out there and see how he does in pressure situations. But I don't know I know that Shador was dealing with an injury the past couple of weeks, but they didn't put him out there. I don't even know who they put out. I don't even know.
Well, I think
they may have put like the fifth string.
Yeah,
guy
that all
out
matters
there.
on the time of the game. I mean, they're not going to put Shador in if it's the end of the game.
Well, sure, but I mean, I don't know. I think it would have been interesting to see how he did in a situation like that.
Yeah, well, that's
I
just
feel
not
like that was a
realistic for
missed. I feel like
teams.
that was a missed opportunity. I don't know.
For your third string QB.
That's
at
what I'm
least, too.
saying. I mean, my
Yeah,
thing
that's
with
what I
it-
mean. It's like
Well, no, I mean that's the whole point though. I think if you want to do something like that, you put Dylan Gabriel, and if you want to have like a
Yeah, true.
Because
but,
I mean,
the whole game it was Shador.
Well-
I feel like this game was to see what Shador could do in an NFL field. That's what it felt like. It felt like he was gonna. And obviously there's a lot of media attention on him because of his last name. But I don't know. I feel like that could have been an opportunity to see how he did under pressure, and instead they went with I think somebody below him in the depth chart.
Well, I think with him, I mean, Kevin Stefanski has proved to us time and time again. He's shown us he is a much higher fan. He's much higher on Dylan Gabriel than he is on Shador. I mean, drafting him in the third round, naming him the second string guy.
It's the same
I
guy
think
who
he
let
went in
Baker
the fourth
Mayfield
round.
walk, though. Like, I mean, that doesn't mean he's great at evaluating QB talent.
No, and I'm not saying he is. I just think like with Baker, I mean, I think the Baker of Tampa Bay is a significantly different player and human being than the Baker of Cleveland. And
He had flashes in Cleveland.
he did have
He
flashes.
brought them to the playoffs and even won a playoff game.
No, definitely, and he did look good. But that eventually faded away. And, I do think that players, I mean, look at Sam Darnold, too. I think it's the same type of deal. Like, players just need, I think, either a change of scenery or they need some time just kind of not playing football just to really hone in on, like, what they're doing and what their routine is going to look like.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people forget, too, Baker's short stint on the Rams, he had some really good throws. I think that really projected him to be such a target for, the Bucs. I think he looked really good. He was even going deep, leading the Rams, rounding out the end of their season. I think there's no reason why, he, as talented as he is, I think he was definitely primed to have that type of season last year with Tampa. Really good stuff. And with weapons, especially with Tampa Bay loading him around with all these different weapons, he's going to have so many options, and he's going to prove to, continue these top 5 seasons. He looks great.
I think, go ahead, BY.
You got it. I was going to.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, and I think, too, the fact that you get a quarterback who's having the production that Baker is at his price tag, I think is pretty uncommon in the NFL. Like, you see guys, I mean, obviously Joe Burrow just, what was it, $55 million a year? $50 million?
50.
You have Trevor Lawrence getting 55, Dak gets 60. I mean, quarterbacks are getting paid. So to pay a guy like Baker and have him long-term, on a contract, I mean, what is he getting? Like $35 million a year?
Baker's getting 33.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty exceptional value
That
for a
is a
quarterback
bargain.
of his, caliber.
Daniel Jones got 40.
Yeah, Joe Shane, this is kind of a topic switch here, but I think Joe Shane is
A twat.
on the way out if he doesn't fix the direction of the ship here pretty soon.
The Giants D-line is looking pretty good this year, though.
No,
But that's about all they have.
I think the Giants will be. They're not going to be a playoff team,
No.
but I do think they're going to
They
give
could
some
show some
teams
culture
some
build.
challenges.
Let's talk about what your hot take might be for this year.
I was actually going to say I would not be totally shocked if the Seahawks come out winning the division.
I was
the
thinking
Seahawks
that
were
last
10
night
and
that they
7
could.
last year,
Well,
correct?
Their defense is great too. Yeah.
Well, that's my
they have
thing
some
with
good
them.
players like Tariq. He's really good,
They
Witherspoon
Spoon?
too.
Yep.
They don't have a massive hole at any position. The O-line is good, and they keep improving on it in the drafts. The defense, the defense is going to be one of the better defenses in the NFL.
I don't love
think.
Cooper Kupp, and Arroyo is still improving. He was a late round
And-
tight end.
But I think JSN is still there. And, I mean, Cooper Kupp, I can't see him being a detriment to the team. You know, I think that's a good wide receiver, too, behind JSN.
He had some stinkers last year, though. He had some zero bombs.
Yeah, but you get that veteran presence in the locker. I mean, Cooper Kupp, I think just his personality in the locker room and his leadership abilities.
Again, he's a vet, too.
That's what I mean.
These young receivers are going to learn from him, for sure.
I mean, I think he's just a great guy to have in the building. And I think he's going to, be a pretty good option for Sam Darnold here. But, I think it's going to rest a lot on what can Sam do, and if Darnold can continue this Viking stint into the Seahawks, and he can keep that same pace, it'll be tough though, because I think the Vikings total
certainly better situation
roster and the coaching too. I mean,
yeah, O'Connell's awesome.
That's as close to a perfect situation for QBs as you can get over in Minnesota. So it'll be fun to watch Sam Darnold go to work this season.
I want to talk about the Giants, too. They're one of the teams where, of course, they have an extremely hard schedule, but I think they do have some flashes for sure. I mean, they have weapons. Malik Neighbors is one of the best receivers in the NFL already. They have a talented defense. Their D-line is stacked, and the D-line really will improve the entire defense. It makes it way easier on the secondary when the QB has less time to throw. He has more pressure generated. It really just takes a weight off the entire defense. And now they do play in a very tough division. They have a very hard upcoming schedule. But I would not be surprised if the Giants fought or are lasting in these games longer than people expect and maybe pick up 5, 6, 7 wins this season. I really think they're only a couple players, maybe a couple improvements from being a scary team for sure.
I think they could sneaky play the Commanders well in Week 1. Just in recent history, even going back to last year, they've always played them close. So I think the Commanders' line of 7 is a little high. I mean, it'll be a closer game than people think. I think Commanders will still win. But
Yeah, I could see that.
I think it's going to be lower scoring. I think the league's going to adjust for Daniels a little. I think Daniels will still be good, but league's going to adjust a little bit for sure. I think he might start a little slow. Giants have a good defense, too.
Let me ask you this
Absolutely.
question about the Giants. Wilson's obviously going to be the starting quarterback to begin the season, but how long do you think it takes before Jackson Dart gets on the field? Because I've been hearing nothing but good things about that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's the upside guy. If Russ is losing you games, which I'm sure I don't think any quarterback could win games in that situation. I think they'll scapegoat a way to bench him, and then Dart will come in maybe by week 9.
I don't think you play. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't play him this season, but you definitely don't start off starting him.
Of course not. But I think that you definitely. I don't know. I mean, I think if the Giants start off 3-5, 3-6.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the New York Giants. I feel like that's a mark, and I would not say that the Giants culture is one of, at least recently, it's not a very optimistic culture, but that is still a very tough market to play in. There's a lot of expectations when you're playing in a market like.
Well, yeah,
New
but
York.
you got to develop the quarterbacks. I mean,
Sure, but I think a big way a lot of quarterbacks develop successfully is by sitting out early on in their career. I mean, look at didn't Patrick Mahomes, he sat out the first season of his career. Tom Brady sat out for the first couple of
Aaron Rodgers.
Even Michael Penix.
It's a
Michael Penix hasn't.
He hasn't done
shown
anything yet,
himself
but it's still a good
but
strategy.
that
for
is, I
development.
think,
No, but
sitting out
behind
your
a
first
vet.
season or first couple of games is.
Well, but I think the way Michael Penix did it, where it's he sits out until maybe week 12, and then Jackson Dart comes in and plays some football. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. I mean, that's at least how I would play it, as long as you think that he's ready. But I mean, I don't know. He's looked good in the preseason. I've heard good things from camp about him.
He looks
it's all
good.
positives.
He looks confident. I think he has a perfect amount of competition in that QB room where he's not going to ride the bench for his entire career, but he's going to have multiple chances to prove himself, ease into the NFL. And I think really, when you get down to Malik Neighbors and the other
having
targets
a guy like
around
that
him,
is going to help him take off for sure. Just
Absolutely.
having a guy you can just guarantee a catch for, basically.
if he can get the ball to Malik, I think the Giants do have a scary offense. They just got Cam Scatteraboo. We'll see how he does, but he was one of the premier running backs last year in college. He took his team, to the playoffs. I like it a lot.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
they have promise for sure.
Think about the quarterbacks that Jackson Dart has to learn from. Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. I mean, that's a pretty fantastic group of vets who you can really just pick their brain and just. I mean, Jameis Winston everybody loves Jameis Winston.
Absolutely.
He's a
Two
great
great
culture
resumes.
Russell Wilson, obviously, a lot of success in Seattle.
He seems like a good guy, too.
You know, they're
Good
going to
locker
be
room
two
guy.
guys.
And Tommy Cutlets as the
Yeah, of
Tommy
course.
DeVito is
At
like,
least it's not Daniel Jones for the first time in, I think, maybe 7 years.
I think the
Wow.
culture
He's been
will
on the Giants
shift.
for
I think he was on the
7
Giants
years?
because they
No.
gave him that extension after he won the playoff game because he was on the 4th year of his contract.
When was he drafted?
2019.
Was
Oh,
he
that's
started
insane.
immediately after he was drafted?
He
Daniel
started in
Jones?
week 3.
Okay. So pretty early on. I think Jackson Dart can have a lot of success there in New York. And I think the NFC East, between the years, we kind of noticed that it's anyone's division.
Ian remembers that Giants Buccaneers Daniel Jones first game as the infamous Matt Gay game.
Oh, Christ. Don't get me started on that son of a bitch. Matt Gay, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Matt Gay for a second, huh? Horrible stuff. I mean, he comes out.
Least favorite player of all time.
He comes out for the Buccaneers, right? And he's missing game-winning kicks against the New York Giants.
Can't do that.
Horrendous.
Can't do it.
Flash forward a couple years, suits up for the Rams, comes out, and he fucking crushes the dreams. Crushes the dreams of the Buccaneers and their fan base.
I'll tell you what, Ian. That sounds like a
Horrific
jackass to me. That sounds like a straight up jackass.
Terrible. I'm sorry.
Matt Gay.
I had that. Whenever he gets brought up, I've got to fucking rant.
No,
sorry.
I hear you. I feel the same way about what was the one guy's the Chicago Bears kicker, Eddie. What was his fucking name? It was something Mexican. God love him. But okay, I want to talk now about I think two things, two big storylines here. First of all, what do we think is going to happen with Micah?
He's a Buccaneer!
Please go to the Packers, please.
Well-
I think they really do have a living chance to grab him.
I'll be honest.
I really do.
I cannot. I mean,
You'd have to move Rashawn Gary.
I
probably.
think a trade.
That's fine. Rashawn Gary didn't even produce that well last year compared to what his contract's looking like.
I think a trade might be possible down the road, but as of right now, I do not see any way that Micah Parsons gets traded.
I don't think Jerry lets him go. I think he's just doing this for the show.
Oh,
That's what
definitely.
he literally said.
Definitely.
I think he'll play Thursday night against the Eagles.
I'll be honest, I can see him missing maybe week 1 and maybe week 2. Because here's the thing, too. You got to think, we're 2 weeks away from the NFL season.
Yeah.
Micah has not practiced. I mean, he hasn't done anything to prepare himself.
I'm sure he's done some stuff on the side.
Yeah, but even still, it's not the same as getting in
You need
pads,
team
going through
cohesion,
contact.
for sure.
It's like that is. I mean, imagine they pay him. He gets this big contract extension. He gets on the field,
he
and
just
all of a
gets hurt 'cause he's
sudden he
unconditioned.
tears his ACL. I mean, that's essentially kind of what happened to Dak, right? Back when he signed his contract.
Yeah, I don't think
know
Dak tore
if
his
he
ACL
held
last
out
year.
though. Did he hold out
Dak
for
didn't
that?
Hold out. They paid him right before.
Okay. Well, but that's the thing with the Cowboys too, is they wait and they actually kind of,
Well, they
fuck
got CD
themselves on the
too.
money.
Was there not some questions about CD Lamb's
Yeah, I
re-signing?
remember.
Well, Dak, CD, and now Micah, Jerry likes to wait for quite a while, and that waiting costs him about $5 to $7 million a year. I mean,
It does.
it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I think definitely he wants the show of it. He definitely
Absolutely. He
wants
loves
to
the
make a
name and the
spectacle.
headlines. He's that type of owner
Yeah.
for sure. I want to go over to my hot take, of the episode. I have the Denver Broncos finishing with a better
I love
record
that take.
than the Philadelphia Eagles. Let
That's
me
an
break this down
outstanding
for
take,
you.
ladies and
I'll state
gentlemen.
my case. I have the Broncos going 12-5. I can see 11-6 just as likely. I have the Eagles at 9-8. Again, I think they can go 10-7.
That seems a bit low to
Little
me.
low. I'll get into it right now, okay? You got the Broncos. They drafted Jahdae Barron. According to ESPN, he had the highest production out of any cornerback in the college draft class last year. They got R.J. Harvey. Now, they did have some production with last year with Javonte Williams and Sheezy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, he was
not
horrible.
not a ton of production, not at all. But with the other, who was the other running back? Jaleel McLaughlin.
Jaleel McLaughlin.
He almost had the exact amount of yardage. So I think.
He's nothing to really be excited about.
Of course, but R.J. Harvey, I mean, you'd say he's an improvement, correct?
Oh, definitely.
So I think that O-line
Definitely.
will be great for him. Speaking of the O-line, let's talk about, what's his name, Sheezy? Quinn Miners.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the
fucking dog.
best guards in football.
The
PFF
best.
has him ranked at number 2, easily the best, especially in pass protection. Broncos also went out and got Evan Engram. That's another option for Bo Nix, especially with the Sean Payton offense. They also signed Dre Greenlaw. Now, he's not the most talented linebacker in the world, but he definitely is a role player.
He's like top 10 in the league.
Sure, he gets a lot of tackles. He has a great portfolio.
I would not call him a role player. I'd call him a superstar.
Him missing that Super Bowl a couple years ago was big news.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm not trying to discredit him. Not like he's the best player in the league, but he was definitely going to be very good for this offense. Now, the Broncos were already 10-7 last year, and they were 1-6 in one-score games. I think a couple more games go their way. Team keeps improving both defensively and offensively. You can see them getting 12 wins, maybe even winning the AFC West. Year 2, Bo Nix, he's playing against probably the best pass protection O-line in the NFL, and he has some more options for receivers. And on top of that, the Broncos still have the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain, best cornerback in the league. He's an instant impact.
Sheezy loves it.
You got to take him out every game to even get a chance. Now, I'm going to get into the Eagles a little bit on why I think they'll regress. Their strength of schedule is the 4th hardest in the league. That's according to Fox Sports.
But who gives
a lot of other sources. Sure, they did lose Josh Sweat. He's a big vet. The development of the other linemen are going to slow down. I like to compare this team actually to the 2021 Rams. They won the Super Bowl. They went out. They got Saquon. You had the Rams making all those additions.
The Rams got Saquon.
Well, no, the Rams didn't get Saquon, but they went out.
Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller.
That's right,
Odell
and
Beckham.
Richard Sherman as well.
They got
correct?
a bunch of guys.
So you're comparing the Eagles to the Rams.
Yes, in 2021, and then the next year, the Rams, this Super Bowl team. Granted, they lost a lot of people. Andrew Whitworth, Von Miller. They lost their veteran presence too. But the very next year, they were 5-12.
But the Eagles haven't lost anyone. That's kind of my qualms with that. Now I do.
They haven't lost quite as much.
I think
that doesn't. The definitive property doesn't. I mean,
what?
Just because the Rams won the Super Bowl and went 5-12 doesn't mean that the Eagles are gonna.
Historically, there's a pretty big Super Bowl slump. There's a couple teams that beat it out, like the Chiefs, but obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I don't think the Eagles are close.
I think with the Eagles, it's just about Jalen Hurts is going to be required to do more for the team. He did not look. He did not wow me last season.
The Eagles aren't a team. I think all their hunger is really gone from this team. They showed the world what they can do. I don't think they have really anything more to prove. And I'll also, bring up that since 2004, the NFC East hasn't had a repeat division winner. I think it's anyone's division.
Stayed very consistent.
Very consistent. And now that doesn't mean that they can be second and still have a terrible record. But I think something to look out for is definitely don't be surprised if the Denver Broncos finish with a better record than the Eagles this season.
I love that take. I think saying that they don't have anything to prove is kind of a silly take, though. Because, we're in the NFL.
Well, we're in the NFL, but, they've got their ring. What more do they have to offer?
Okay, Tom Brady. Do you think Tom Brady goes, I got my ring? No, everybody wants to be like the Patriots. Everybody wants to be like the Chiefs. People don't want to just win a Super Bowl and then fuck off. You want to have consistent success.
Of course.
Eagles better hope they don't run into the Bucs in the wild card this year.
Fucking hope not.
Amen.
That's
Ask
right.
Jason Kelsey. Ask Jason Kelsey what he thinks about the Buccaneers. I bet you he doesn't think very highly of him. Sorry, go ahead, Quaid.
No, you're fine. I think we all got our hot takes out, except for you, Ian. Do you want to tell us what we should be looking forward to in this season? Maybe something getting overlooked?
I don't think it would be crazy if the Chiefs don't win their division. I really don't think it would be crazy.
I don't think so either.
Who you got winning it?
I could see the Broncos winning that division.
God, I'm loving this, guys. I'm loving this.
1-6 in one-score games, that is horrible.
The Broncos
around, and they are almost the 1 seed last year.
The Broncos, since Super Bowl 50 and losing Peyton Manning, have been flailing, and they've looked completely silly.
You've seen it all.
But I think that they've found their guy, and not only do I think that they found their guy, I think they have a very good system built around him. I think the Chiefs are very reminiscent of the Patriots. The thing is, do I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to do what Tom Brady did with, Tom Brady took shit and made magic out of it. Do I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to?
He had some of the best
He had Randy
defensive
Moss.
and special teams of all
Tom
time.
Brady was Tom Brady.
Well, whatever. But regardless, even more so, the Chiefs, other than Patrick Mahomes,
Tom Brady did
the team
take garbage on the
away.
offense, and your best wide receiver for over a decade is Julian Edelman. Besides Randy Moss for one season, and they broke records, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Every record.
Yeah, but it's like definitely. I don't think Mahomes. Like, look, I think Mahomes is the second best quarterback in the league right now behind
Who's number
Josh
one?
Allen.
Okay.
But I
Big team,
think
the Bills.
I just feel like the Chiefs kind of seem like, I don't know. The defense for the Chiefs is going to have to be good. Is kind of how they feel.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
agree.
and you go 11-0 in one-score games. I mean, that is just. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Well,
before.
think about all the times the referees bailed them out last year. Realistically, they should have lost a lot of
that
games.
was a kind
a
of
lot of
overblown
close calls.
stat.
Tell them, BY. Tell them about the calls.
About for
That was
who?
that
the
was
Chiefs last
The
year.
Chiefs did get a lot of calls. There's
They
one
got
in
a
week 2
lot
against
of-
the Bengals where they said they made early contact, and the next week the Chiefs made the exact same play on defense, and there wasn't a flag for the Chiefs, but there was one for the Bengals.
I'm
Just
not.
a little suspicious because it was the exact same play.
I'm not going to scapegoat, the referees being a reason for a team's success, but there was definitely some very convenient calls for Kansas City last year.
If
Their
you look
record
at-
could have looked a lot different.
If you look at the actual numbers of that, that's an extremely overblown talking point. And if you put a microscope on any team in the NFL off of the officiating, you can make that case for any single team in the NFL.
What
Officiating
type
is
of
just-
numbers are you talking about, though? You say talking about the numbers.
I believe the Chiefs were like maybe the 10th highest penalized team in the league.
Yeah, I'm
I
I'm looking at these very important penalties towards the ends of the game. You have
No,
like
but see, but
against the Ravens.
The thing with
too.
it too is that whole narrative put the Chiefs under a microscope, and like I said, the officiating is human. So there's going to be a lot of missed calls, a lot of mistakes. If you put any single team under a microscope in the same way that the Chiefs were put in that situation last year, you can make that case for any one of the 32 teams. in the
I
NFL.
agree, but I don't think anything about the officiating was microscopic. I think that they were big calls in huge moments. Of course, there's going to be missed calls all over the season for every single team, but some of these calls were egregious.
Welcome
Absolutely.
to the NFL.
Well,
Big calls
sure.
happen. that
Happy
change
to
the
be
game.
here.
I mean,
That's how it goes.
They do.
Let's do a little wrap up with a little fantasy segment. Who were some of your must-have guys in some of your drafts this year? Who are guys you're not trying to leave without?
I'll be honest, and this is a value guy for me. So you're not gonna get this. This is like a 7th, 8th run guy in
So who's
redraft.
the guy you
I'd
can
say.
get if you want him?
I would say Zach Charbonnet is a guy that I like a lot. I think he's poised to kind of, because when he played,
He was insane.
he was better
He was awesome.
than
I thought they were.
why am
gonna
I
keep him as a
blanking on
starter.
his name?
Ken Walker.
Yeah, than Ken Walker. I mean, I think he's poised to
No,
become the
no,
number one
no.
running back in Seattle, and at the very least, that's going to be a 50-50. Like, I believe it was. I think Ken Walker was 26 in PPR, and Zach Charbonnet was the running back 24.
A lot of that is volume, though. Ken Walker is like a next-gen stat beast. I mean, this guy, he's
yeah,
a
but who gives a
ridiculous
shit
runner.
about next gen stats
Well, I'm
when it
just
comes to fantasy?
Yeah, you're right for fantasy. I don't see him becoming the running back one at all. I think Charbonnet is one of the greatest handcuffs, though. Still a talented runner, but if Ken Walker's healthy, there's no way for Charbonnet.
Big if.
Quaid, who are you trying to leave your underdog drafts with this year in fantasy?
I'll tell you who. Someone who's going way too late, in my opinion. I've been saying this all off season. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen. He put up some decent numbers with the Bears. Obviously, the O line
Got a lot of targets.
Was miserable. He got a lot of targets, especially towards the second half of the season. But Keenan Allen, he's still a vet. Yes, he's old, but he's going back to the same Justin Herbert who put up some of the most dastardly stats in the league during those seasons. I think he's definitely a player to watch. So that's one of my big ones. I'll come back to you with another in just a bit.
Some of my guys, a couple of receivers you can get in the mid to late rounds. They're climbing a little bit though, because some people are catching on. But I like Mika Egbuka a lot. I mentioned that earlier. I think he's in a great position right now. He's literally listed as the wide receiver 2 on the depth chart. Godwin and McMillan are certain to miss games. And I think we could potentially. Evans has been regressing every year for the last 3 years. People say, oh, he's Mike Evans, he gets 1,000 yards, but 1,000 yards is less than 100 yards a game. I mean, the best guys are putting up 100 yards a game nowadays, like Jefferson, Chase, Neighbors was close last year. And I know those are just 3 fluke examples, but, Evans, there's just proof of decline. So I think Egbuka could even step up into the 1.
Oh, I think he will.
I think the Bucks love him too. He looks great in camp. I mean, there have been guys who look great in camp before, like Sammy Watkins, but I think Egbuka's just on a different level. Ohio State makes monsters. I think he'll be
Absolutely.
awesome. And then my other guy is Roma Dunze. I think Ben Johnson offense will benefit him the most because he's honestly like a JSN type archetype player. I think he could have a second-year breakout the same way he did. Was great at Washington, helped Washington get to the championship. He was a big name before he kind of didn't have a great year last year, but sometimes it takes a second. Now he fully steps into the wide receiver 2 role. He's going to see the ball a lot.
I don't love a Dunze because I feel like Chicago is like the Wild West of fantasy. Like there's too many competition. There's too many target competitors on that team.
That's true. There's
And none
a lot.
of them are proven either. Like except for DJ Moore.
Luther Burden and Loveland.
Yeah, there's no one beside. Like DJ Moore is the obvious number 1 guy on that team.
And they have Swift, too.
But like, who's going to be the number 2? No one really knows. I don't think because you go out and you draft, as you said, Loveland and Burden. You have a Dunze on there.
You still have
you
Cole
still have
Kmet
Cole
as
Kmet,
well. He's one of the
exactly.
best pass-catching tight ends in the league.
I wouldn't even come close to saying anything like that ever. I would not even
Really?
say anything similar to that. No.
Why not?
Foolish.
He's
It's
not
just
great.
foolish. It's foolish to say. God love you.
Okay.
But no, I mean, the Bears are just confused me with who's going to be the number 2. So I
No, that's fair, but I think you'll see him step into that role. People
can see that.
People were taking JSN in like the 7th, 8th last year, and he ended up winning leagues.
That is true.
And I think this is a very similar. If you look at the numbers, very similar. And I think that Ben Johnson, his offense is gonna be more prolific than Mike McDonald, so he could even be better. So we'll see.
I'll tell you another guy I'm not leaving a draft without, and that's Bucky Irving. He's got a lot of hype that I've seen, especially this offseason. You know, some of it is just a meme, but Bucky Irving truly, against some of these horrible defenses, such as, last year the Giants and the Panthers led up some of the most to running back in fantasy, he absolutely punished them. He's scoring 27 and 29 points. I mean, and he's doing that at a 50%, snap count. He's not even getting that much volume. I mean, you look at the first half of the season, he didn't have a single game over more than 14 carries. This is a guy who, if he gets the ball more consistently, if he grows into that offense, takes more of that rushing share off of Rachaad White, this is a guy who is absolutely primed to be a top 3 running back. He is putting up ridiculous numbers for the very small portion of volume he gets from the Buccaneers, and I think all it takes is the Bucs, to lean on him a little more than Rachaad White, and he is going to be an absolutely dangerous piece to any fantasy team. I would say reach on Bucky Irving this season. Upside is there.
I have one last question for you guys before we leave here.
Talk to me.
Against the spread, who is your lock team to beat the spread week 1?
This has been the hardest week 1 ever. I don't have a lock, but I've switched it twice now. I switched from the Broncos to the Panthers, not to the Panthers, to the Jaguars to beat the Panthers, and then I switched to I'm at the Steelers against the Jets right now. I was just looking at some of the numbers. The Steelers historically play week 1 really well. I think the Jets are pretty terrible. I think Fields might struggle against his old defense. I think they have him pretty. Like if anyone has Fields figured out, it's the Steelers defense. Great defense too against bad teams. I don't think New York home field advantage matters. No culture. I mean, they're trying to build culture, but I don't think Fields is gonna do much for them. So I think Steelers at 3.5 is a pretty good play.
Oh, at 3.5. Damn, I might switch my lock to them.
I
Jesus.
like them a lot.
I have it at Tampa Bay right now currently because I think with Michael Penix, the kind of the new QB coming in, I think Tampa Bay is a very polished, established team.
This is what you want to use Tampa on though.
Yeah, I mean that is, and they
For
did
a
not play
survivor
the Falcons
At
well
Falcons.
last season.
No, the Falcons
either.
beat them.
No, I mean honestly, after hearing you talk about it, I might switch my pick to the Steelers.
I have trouble picking road divisional games as well. Even
As
if
a
you are
matter
the
of fact-
favorites.
Divisions are tough.
Very unpredictable.
I'm looking at these spreads here. I like the Broncos 7.5
I
over the
can't do the
Titans.
7.5. I wish
But
it was 6.
Seven
If it
and
was
a half
6, I'd hammer it.
is a little too high. Again, I'm looking at these right here. I might like the Niners over 2.5. I think they'll
I
beat
can't
the
take him at
Seahawks.
Seattle. If that's
But-
that San Fran, I
Nah,
take him. I agree.
That's true.
all the teams you would take like divisionally are on the road. It's very that's why week 1's tough.
Mhm.
And then you got some slop games that no one's gonna be able to predict, like Dolphins Colts. I couldn't tell you.
Mhm.
I mean, you assume Dolphins, right, with Daniel Jones starting, but I wouldn't bet on it.
I'm seeing that this might be the worst. Cardinals at minus 6.5
there are
might
some-
be the worst pick of the week.
At Saints.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's what
Take the
my
Saints
pick
plus
was
then,
now,
if
but
you're
that was a
if you think
while
the Cardinals
ago.
are that bad. I just wouldn't bet on the Saints or the Cardinals this year. Those are not 2 teams you
It-
need to be using survivor picks
Are the
on.
Chiefs at home or away?
It's in Mexico, neutral site.
Okay,
There's
that's-
probably gonna be more Chiefs
Who
fans
do
there
they
'cause
play?
it's Mexico.
That's interesting.
Play the
They're going to play the Chargers. I think I might go with the
interesting.
Chiefs. Above
To start
3.5.
strong. I don't mind that either.
Patrick Mahomes, historically, an absolute monster against these other AFC West teams. His record is
That's true.
unbeatable.
But I think the Chiefs kind of start off a bit slow in the beginning of the season.
I don't
They
know.
started
Not
8-0 last year. You
I
mean
don't
this year
know.
they start sneaky slow?
No, I mean,
I think they got. I think the
I don't
Chargers are a
know.
talented bunch, and I think they can definitely.
Chiefs might be my second favorite now that you convinced me.
I like Chiefs 3.5. First game of the season, it's the Chiefs. They're going to remind everybody, especially after that Super Bowl loss. Andy Reid's going to get a hamburger that game for sure.
I'm switching my pick now. Seattle, I just saw that. Seattle coming within 2 of the Niners. I think Seattle wins that game.
Yeah,
love Seattle
I like
there.
Seattle. I think
I
people are
love Seattle
overrating the
there.
Niners like crazy.
Overrating the Niners?
I would totally
think
agree.
so.
It's insanity.
Now they do have a very easy
there
schedule
are games
this
I'd rather
season.
take the Seahawks in, though. I don't feel comfortable picking against San Fran in week 1. Like, I want to just be safe. I feel like the safest play is Steelers. I don't know. Dolphins maybe, too. I like Dolphins a little bit. I like Chiefs a little bit. I think some games you just can't bet on include Raiders-Pats. God knows who's going to win that game.
I don't like that. That seems like a big trap.
Texans-Rams, I wouldn't bet on that game ever.
Me neither.
Bills-Ravens, of course not. Vikings-Bears, you couldn't. Lions-Packers, you couldn't.
I'm gonna lock in the Chiefs beat the Chargers by 3.5. Then
I don't
for week
mind
1.
Jacksonville to beat Carolina. I think Liam Cohen offense will click a little bit. I think Brian Thomas will have a great game. Panthers have the worst defense in the league. I think Jags could. I was on Jags earlier, but I just like the Steelers just a little bit more.
I've got the Seahawks. I like the Seahawks a lot.
That's bold.
I would not bet Cardinals Saints. I would not bet Dolphins Colts.
Yeah, I don't know if the Niners are who Vegas thinks they are. I really don't.
No, I was seeing people say the Niners are going to win like 12 games.
Well, they
I
have a
just don't
really
even know
easy
that's
schedule.
possible.
They
They
have
do have
like
an
the
easy
easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah, but even still, man. You lose so many key players on both sides of the ball.
I'm gonna get a little. I'm gonna.
And they
jinx
won
myself
6
and look ahead a
games
little
even
bit.
with those pieces last year.
Week 2, the Ravens are 12.5 at home against the Browns, and then the Cowboys are 4.5 at home against the Giants. That one could be a good play.
Mm-hmm. Sheezy, is there anyone that you're absolutely not leaving a draft without this fantasy season?
I would have to say, you know who I like? I'm not going to talk about. I like the late round gems.
Who's
Marvin
going way too
Mims.
late?
I think Marvin Mims, not even obviously as a huge Broncos fan, I might be a bit biased, but I genuinely think that and you can get him at like the 11th round, like late in drafts, maybe even later.
Marvin Mims is a great best ball type of player.
I think
he will put up numbers on some weeks, not too much.
Well,
the
here's
other
the thing
weeks,
with
but
him.
He can win you a week.
He is a boom or bust player, and I think, he's either going to be way higher than his ADP suggests, or he's going to kind of just be, around.
Well, he's
where
on a
people
great
think he'll
offense.
No, but
And you just lost Devon Vela. Now Devon Vela is not the best. He's a decent player.
He wasn't a huge target share.
No, not a huge target share, but anything helps, especially for a guy like Marvin Mims. You're gonna have dudes, like Evan Ingram and Cortland
Well,
Sutton.
I think Evan Ingram is actually going to be
absorbing them.
the second highest volume, quote unquote receiver, even though he's a tight end.
I like that take. Evan Ingram has had some of the most productive seasons at tight end in recent history.
Well, and I think I said this last episode, but I think when Sean Payton saw Evan Ingram, he goes, "Oh, there's my new Jimmy Graham."
Absolutely.
He's used to that type of player. He talks all the time about having a joker, and that's a guy who either at the tight end or running back position can be a very talented pass catcher, which is why I think people are excited about R.J. Harvey. The Broncos running backs historically, since Terrell Davis even. Really, I think it's been since Terrell Davis. We've not had a standout starting running back. And, I think Sean Payton can change that, but I've learned to become a little bit cautious on the Broncos running backs. And I think with J.K. Dobbins in the building, too, it's going to be, at least for the first few weeks, a definite 50-50 split in terms of volume. Maybe J.K. Dobbins might even get a bit more, but we'll see.
Just one last thing I wanted to add for us. I was doing a little look ahead. Week 4 is going to be an absolutely loaded slate. This is the Triggy rivalry weekend. We got Eagles-Bucks. We got Ravens-Chiefs, Bengals-Broncos.
Wow.
Packers also play at Cowboys Sunday Night Football.
Okay.
Some good games all around here. And I mean, the week before it too, on Monday night, we got Lions Ravens, so that should be a good one too. Just some games to
Absolutely.
get excited for.
Thank you, BY. That's going to be a great week. I think that might be all. Is that all we have for tonight?
Yeah,
I think so.
the
We're not
next
going to
time-
overstep.
What, the next time we have an episode will probably be after the week, Monday on week one.
It'll be close.
Do you
We'll
think?
see. We might be able to get one in before.
Maybe
kickoff.
we get one right before.
We'll see. Definitely look forward to the new Triggy Sports Talk Show episode after week 1. We're going to have some reactions to that for sure. Thank you so much for listening to Triggy Sports. This has been Sheezy, BY, Quaid. Ian is gone. I mean, Ian is AWOL
He's asleep.
around here. But thank you guys so much for listening. We're going to try to improve these episodes every week as we go on. So just remember, Triggy Sports is live, and we're here for you. The ball knowledge capital of the world, Triggy Sports. Thank you for listening.
Time for you to add to the poem.
I think we should before